this is a question that makes me very uncomfortable. Hello everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. What is up, guys? So I haven't done like a life update or anything like that in a while, and I thought what better way to kick it off than a Q&A. So I decided to post on my story not once but twice in the past week and a half to ask you guys as many questions as you wanted to ask me about my life, juicy details, fitness, nutrition, whatever it was. And I got a lot of the same questions, but I got a lot of really good ones as well. So basically, I'm gonna answer them for you guys. And just know that I am such an awko taco, literally, so awkward. So some of these questions are uncomfortable for me to answer, but I asked you to ask me juicy questions, so I'm gonna answer them for you guys. So with all that being said, let's jump into the questions. Okay, so the first one that I'm gonna answer are all, the first ones I guess, are all related to jiu-jitsu, because a lot of people ask me about Brazilian jiu-jitsu, how I got started with it, what my goal is with it, and all that kind of stuff. So I basically started Brazilian jiu-jitsu because my ex-boyfriend actually was training at a gym here in San Diego, which just happens to be one of the most prestigious gyms literally in the world. And so I basically was watching for like a little over a year, and then a few people in the gym actually started reaching out to me and were like, yo, you really need to try this. We're trying to grow the women's team. And then in March, I was like, finally just like bit the bullet. I actually was like separated from my ex at the time and still am. But I basically was just like, okay, I guess I'll give this a try. Gave it a try and honestly just like completely fell in love with it. As far as it goes with my goals for it, 100% my goal is to be a world champion at jiu-jitsu. I know I'm just a white belt right now, but honestly I dedicate so much time to it. I love it so much, and I really see it being such a huge part of my life moving forward because it's changed me and my life, and honestly the trajectory of it in so many ways, with traveling, with the people I've met, etc. So honestly nothing has ever made me feel this good, so I'm gonna keep doing it. And then I also got a question that was about like someone else starting jiu-jitsu. How do you know if it's for you, and how do you kind of jump into it, because it's kind of scary and it's terrifying. I promise you, like when you first start, you're like, what the heck? And the thing is, like, you don't know what you don't know. So no matter what, you're gonna be bad when you start because there's always people who are gonna know more than you, right? So the best thing that I would say is just be super open. You're gonna know if it's for you or not after doing it for more than a few months, I would say. For me, I knew right away, but I would say just give it a shot. Don't just go for a week because you're not gonna learn enough to, you know, get your first submission, get your first choke, whatever it might be. And once you do, like after that, you're like, oh my God, this is like a kid in a candy store. You have to just keep going. So yeah, that's everything to do with jiu-jitsu in terms of that. The next question was one that literally I got so many times. I guess they kind of go hand in hand. Am I dating or looking for a relationship, or am I single? And I am a single Pringle right now. I have been for a while, and I'm just really now like fully, completely alone, and I honestly love that for me. Okay, I'm not looking for anything right now. If something like is pursued or comes up, cool. If not, cool. I really want to focus on just, you know, before my last relationship, I was single for like 3 years. And I know I'm young, so whatever, but for literally like 3 years. And I think that's what was like able to bring a relationship into my life. And so I think for me right now, just being single for a while and not even being interested in pretty much anything at this point, I'm really kind of closed for right now, as to where I'm at. I think it will just help me manifest something awesome in the future. So there's that. I'm single as a Pringle, and I'm not looking or dating. Just doing me. Okay. My next question, what is my favorite active wear or gym wear? My favorite active wear is actually Alpha. I'm wearing it right now. Leggings are super comfortable. I'm a size small and everything, for y'all who are wondering. They're having a bunch of new launches come out. I am sponsored by them, so if you guys are asking and wondering, I'm not being biased though. They've literally been my favorite company since day one. I started watching Christian Guzman when I was like 15, so shout out to him. Shout out to Alpha. So that's my favorite gym brand. Another question I got was, do I take pre-workout? If so, what kind? So I haven't been taking pre-workout as much recently because I train 3 times a day, so, or sometimes twice a day, sometimes just once a day, but because my caffeine consumption would be like out of this freaking world if I took pre-workout for every training session. So I'll take Ghost Burn. Occasionally it's about 150 milligrams per serving, or I drink a 3D energy drink, or I have a black coffee. So if I'm gonna recommend a pre-workout to you though, the new Ghost Red Berry is like, oh my god, so good. If you haven't tried it yet, get your hands on it because it's literally fire flames. This is a question that makes me very uncomfortable. No, I'm just kidding. It really doesn't. So a lot of girls don't like talking about sex. Wow, what a big word. And honestly, I'm really open about it with like my friends. Like all my friends know, so like y'all are my friends, so I'm just gonna be open about it. Someone asked me what my favorite sex position is. And if you're watching this, I know you know who you are, and just know that I freaking love you. So I'm gonna be super honest here. If we're going for like intimacy and like, you know, really enjoying the other person, it's gonna be missionary for me because God, it's so awkward. Because like, you know, you need to like feel the person, you can see the person, you kiss the person, whatever. If we're like not doing that whole intimacy thing, like you're still trying to feel connected and like all that good stuff, but at the same time like trying to go hard, oh my god, what am I doggy style because it feels good. Okay, anyway, moving on. Next question. Wow, that was a lot. Okay, I love this question. Indy, you asked me this question. I know you're watching this. Best change you've made in your life in 2019. The best change that I made in my life was shifting from codependency to just really relying on myself in all aspects. And I think the one thing that really brought this about for me was jiu-jitsu, actually. I think it created a lot of change in my life. It opened me up to people who allowed me to find more of a balance with life and business. I think I relied a lot on like, oh, I have to do this for work, or I have this many calls, or whatever it was, and kind of like use it as an excuse to like avoid certain things or just like become dependent on my business or like one certain person. And this year I've just been opened up to a lot more things, and I think it's created a lot of opportunity for me. It's made me really happy. I'm like the happiest I've literally ever been in my entire life, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I would say just making that shift into not being so codependent on other people and things, and just learning to really be okay with being alone. So yeah, there's that. Okay, someone asked me if I'm ever gonna compete again and why I stopped. So 2018, June of 2018 was my last bikini competition, and I will never compete again. I can say that with confidence. I know people say never, but after I have competed in jiu-jitsu and the feeling I get from that is like no other. I don't even think it compares to a bikini competition. I give props to any girl who does compete in the NPC or IFBB, but quite frankly, for me, it's just subjective. I don't think there's like a lot of skill that you can really develop besides like having discipline. And I don't care to ever look that lean. I was the most unhappy with my body when I was that lean. And I had the worst relationship with food since my eating disorder when I was in prep, rather than now where I'm eating more for performance and just like enjoying my life, that honestly, like, I just couldn't even fathom going back to it. So you guys asked me a lot of like nutrition and intuitive eating questions and all that kind of stuff, and I want to save the intuitive eating for a different video, but I will answer some of the fitness style questions. So someone asked me, when I work out, do I leave reps in the tank? And so it really depends on where I'm at with my progressive overload. As you guys saw in my last video, I taught you guys a little bit about like the acclimation sets that I do, working up to basically the working sets that I do. I'll usually leave 1 to 2 reps in the tank. I don't think I ever would go to max failure with working out, just because I train jujitsu so often that it would hinder my jujitsu, or at least my performance and like awareness. So yeah, I leave like 1 to 2 reps in the tank. Sometimes I'll go 70%. If I know that I'm really sore or I have like really intense training coming up throughout the week, I will leave a few more reps in the tank. Okay, so there's 2 questions about high school here that someone asked me. So what was my experience like in high school, and am I still friends with people from high school? So my high school experience was hard, guys. Like freshman, sophomore year, I was like chilling. I had like a good group of friends. I was in theater, but I also did track, so I had a pretty diverse group of friends. My sophomore year, towards the end though, I did develop an eating disorder, which made it really hard for me to keep friendships. So then, you know, by the time I was recovered as a senior, I kind of just really kept to myself. I had like a few friends here and there. I have one or maybe two friends that I still talk to from high school. I've had people reach out to me since that were not there for me during my high school years, which I totally understand. It's really hard to keep a friendship with someone who has an eating disorder. It's really tedious and it's really draining. So I don't blame them, but the fact that they were counter supportive, if that makes sense, like they were literally against me. Like now that they reach out to me, I'm like, okay, like skirt, like they. But yeah, I've actually had a friend from high school visit me and I love her to death. If she's watching this, she knows who she is. She knows who she is. But other than that, not really. I was not like the cool kid in high school or anything like that. Okay, next question. I'm just gonna answer a few more. Someone asked me if I still do track. So I actually don't still track macros consistently. Actually, about 2 weeks ago, I did start tracking 3 times a week to make sure that I was sticking to my intake, because I was having these little periods of like overeating at night, and I think it stemmed from me cutting weight really harsh for a jiu-jitsu competition and then not really like reverse dieting or like bringing my intake back up slowly. I was just like, oh, I'm just gonna start eating again. And I got like extremely hungry and just was like eating whatever I wanted. So to get that under control, I did just start tracking, making sure I was eating enough throughout the day so I wasn't having those like overeating spells at night. But I've been eating it intuitively for about a year, and I call it more mindful eating than intuitive eating. I'm still aware of how much I'm eating. I still look at things in terms of macronutrient breakdowns because I train a lot, and so it's important for me to look at food like that. But of course, I also still do listen to my body. Okay, so the last question I'm gonna answer is about my business. So a lot of you guys asked me how I started my business at 18 and, you know, did I intend for it to be a business? A lot of questions about my business. So I'm just gonna give y'all a short little splurge about my business. So I actually started in-person training when I was 18. I also started my Instagram when I was 17, and I kind of just like shared this fly, what the fuck? I just started sharing like every aspect of my life, and personal training was one of them. And then one of the girls, her name is Jody, she reached out to me and was like, girl, like, do you do online coaching? And I was like, what the heck is online coaching? And I was like, oh wait, I can just take personal training to my Instagram. And so I just started off with like doing training programs, and it was really unorganized. And then basically I developed like more of a program over time. I started taking on clients one-on-one, and my client base started growing, and like everything just like took off for me, and it was awesome. And now I have like more systems in play and have like an awesome group of girls who are just like in my corner. I have a team. I have an assistant and an assistant coach who are awesome. So like what wasn't supposed to be a business just like turned into this business for me, and now I get to do what I love and serve the people that I love. And now I also teach other fitness coaches how to coach as well, or run a business, which is honestly super fulfilling, seeing other people just like be able to help other women and men. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, so this was kind of just like a quick Q&A to give you guys a little update on my life and learn a little bit more about myself. I feel like there weren't too many funny questions, which I low-key was hoping y'all would give me some funny ones, but it's okay. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm gonna have a lot more coming up. I'm traveling for 6 weeks in the next month and a half, or in the next week I'll leave. So I'll catch you guys up on like my travel plans. I'll catch you guys up on another full day of eating. And then if you guys have any recommendations for videos, I would love to see them down below. As always, my friends, I love you, and have a fabulous rest of your day, night, week, whenever it is when you're watching this.